Today we are running 0 rares, and we don't even care because we are running the no rares required Spitfire Cavalcade Calamity deck. This deck is going to deal tons of non-combat damage with lots of spell slinger cards and cards like the Cavalcade of Calamity, and then we're going to top it off with amazing bruisers like Chandra Spitfire that care about that non-combat damage and grow into huge, massive threats. This deck is incredibly potent. You will not even notice that we are playing an extremely budget-centric deck. I'm telling you, this deck is really, really good. Now, as we jump into our first game, it appears that we are playing against a blue, white, and green deck of some kind. They are willing to trade. That's perfectly fine. Voldaren Epicure is not super important for the deck at all. It's just in there because it's one of a slew of cards with 1 power. Every creature in the deck has 1 power to turn on all of our fun shenanigans, and it has tons of ways the Voldaren Epicure can deal some non-combat damage itself. Now, I am a little worried here that we're going to see some sort of removal shenanigans here, but let's go ahead and get down a little more damage to the face. All these burn spells feel very, very nice when we get to throw them at our opponent, and now all of a sudden we're going to be up to 7 damage in the air if our opponent is going to let this happen. Now, I was expecting something like that, so that is disappointing, but Brazen Borrower here, not bad against the Spitfire. Will unfortunately be a perfect blocker against the Spitfire, so that is going to be a genuine problem. But let's go ahead. We'll take our 1 extra damage off the Cavalcade, and we're going to go from there. Having them down to 11 in this early game is going to be pretty good. I think a great card for us would be to be able to draw into would be instant speed, any kind of burn spell that could hit this borrower out of the air, because that's obviously going to try to come in and block our Spitfire, which is right now the primary win con in the deck. Setting up a Cavalcade plus a Spitfire, or also the other card that has Chandra's name at the beginning that I'll maybe flash against the screen right here. Maybe, we'll see. But that one gets double strike on the ground, and this one just gets really big in the air, but it doesn't get that double strike to protect it in combat. So I'm pretty worried about this borrower flashing in and really messing up all of our stuff. So we're seeing a Broker's Ascendancy deck here. At the beginning of your end step, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each planeswalker. So this is a very good card. They're playing a +1/+1 counter deck, clearly, but getting to put a counter on everything is pretty darn nuts. So let's go ahead and do this. That's extremely unfortunate. They don't, however, have enough mana to do anything with the borrower, so they did take a risk here. And then we can put this down as well. Now this can actually hit that borrower, so we're going to hold on to that. And I am willing to go ahead and just throw in this Epicure now for that extra damage. And then that is going to get us so close to that damage we need. Oh, and this guy has reach, so that's unfortunate. But we will take that trade. That's fine. And then we're going to go from there. I am actually feeling pretty good because the Spitfire is going to get real fired up. And there's the first win. This deck already rolling. Let's keep going with another game. Let's see what you think about this deck. If you're enjoying this gameplay, please consider hitting that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel, and we play nothing but Explorer decks here on Explorer of MTG YouTube channel. So, if you like this deck and you like this content, you'll probably like whatever I've got going on in the future as well. Thank you for considering that, and let's get into another game. Interesting choice here against the veteran. I think we will just put down a Epicure, get ourselves that blood token. It can attack. I would actually be willing to take that trade, and they probably would not. They're probably in some kind of life gain deck, so Spikefield Hazard might actually come in handy here. Double Lunarch Veteran. The life gain will probably be a bit of a tough matchup for us. Let's go ahead and attack first and see what their thoughts are on making this trade. Didn't think they would be interested in it, so that's good. So let's go ahead and just get down a Scorch Spitter and put down the Firebrand. If they get anything super scary that combos with one of these somehow, we can use the Firebrand to snipe one of these out of the air. So that could be good. In general, playing against life gain is my least favorite thing in the world, as you guys may know if you watch me very much. Hate all kinds of life gain decks, especially the Angels ones. We'll see. I don't love playing against life gain. I think it's kind of boring. But I get that people like that strategy, and it is a good strategy. So more power to you if that's your thing. Let's go ahead and do this. And then let's go ahead and draw a card, see what we can find. We don't need all these mountains. And there's a Spitfire, which is going to come down next turn. That's amazing. Let's go ahead and get our extra 5 damage here, but they might even be interested in taking some blocks. Perfect. That's exactly what I was predicting. They want to hold on to those veterans for their life gain synergies, which makes perfect sense. And we're ready to roll. Next turn, we can put down the Spitfire and hold up this Hazard, which I think is good because we're going to need to start getting some big damage in to counteract all of this life gain that they've got going. One creature and they're going to gain 2 life. That's going to add up quickly against our deck here. So I'm going to see if we can keep the pressure on. That's fine. We're going to go get another land off of that. Just thin the deck a bit, so that's good. Do I go ahead and Spikefield Hazard now? Let's go ahead and do this now. I think it's worth it. We'll turn off their strategies. Yeah, I think that was worth it. So let's go ahead and we'll keep 1 mountain in hand just in case we find another blood token. But for now, this is good. So already having the Spitter out is good because that'll pump this up to 4. But if we could find a Cavalcade, we're really ready to pop off and win this game. Legion Angel is going to put some pressure on us because they're going to start putting down multiple Legion Angels, but that's okay. We could still work this out. Drawing a mountain is extremely unfortunate, but it's okay. It is what it is. But we can go ahead and take this trade. Now, unfortunately, Legion Angel kind of makes it a negative trade here, so they definitely just block with the Legion Angel, which is unfortunate. So I don't know if that was the right play or not, but this definitely feels like a deck that I need to be super aggressive against. Let me know if you would have made that same play in the comment section. I'm not sure 100% that was right, but having nothing but mountains in hand is going to make it pretty hard to come back against these life gain decks. Once they get set up, especially now that they're just dropping angels down, I'm not really sure what else the win con could be. I think we actually just cycle this desert, look for something to play, and another mountain just going to cost us. I don't really picture us after drawing mountains at key points of the game going to be able to win. This deck does run low on mountains, somewhere around 22, I think, without looking at the deck off the top of my head. But multiple Legion Angels down now. Not likely for us to get through. It's really not looking good for us. This is how the deck does eventually lose. If you don't draw your... But in any deck, it's just part of Magic. If you don't draw your gas whenever you need to put the punch on, especially in a mono red deck that's very aggressive, you're just not going to win. And that's okay. That's part of Magic. That's part of how the game goes. That is okay. But I always like playing it out and just seeing what we could potentially draw into, just like that last game. I thought we might lose, and then we actually snuck it out by drawing into the win. So we'll go ahead and play it out. I'm a big fan of playing it out, especially in a deck like this. This is my least favorite card of all time to play against, so our opponent does have it. I'm going to give ourselves one more draw and just see if we can draw something that might change the tides, but I don't think we really have anything at this point that could save us. Even getting that Cavalcade, they're just going to be gaining so much life now. Righteous Valkyrie is insane. The 4 life there, I think, is enough to put me over the top. They're all the way back to 20. Congrats to our opponent. Well done. Let's see if we can pick up another win and go back up above this 50% win rate. All right, teetering at exactly a 50% win rate on the day. Looking at this opening hand, I'm generally just looking for early game plays, and then if I can get one of the non-combat damage cards that cares about it, or a Cavalcade, I feel pretty good. If I don't have either of the Chandra Spitfire or the Chandra's Pyreling, then I'm a little less confident about it. Since I am trying to get to 3 mana here, I'm going to go ahead and start with this tap land. Spikefield this early. It looks like we're playing against green-white again. Seems to be the theme for the day. Ooh, this is going to be the Legendaries Tribal deck. I'm pretty afraid of this deck. I have a lot of respect for it. It always seems to play out really well against me, and they get down some big, beefy creatures early. So I'm predicting that Spitfire in the air is going to be extremely important here. Well, I'm not familiar with them playing this, though. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a treasure. Then you can pay 5 if you do play that exiled card. That's a very interesting card. I love these hideaway cards. So I haven't really seen any of them except for fight rigging be very viable, but all super interesting. So I would love it if they could make a bit of a splash in the meta. Chandra's Pyreling, great card for us to draw here. We might be able to win this game just based on sheer speed, but we really need to draw into a Cavalcade. That's when this deck also struggles. If you don't have that Cavalcade, you're not turning on your Chandra's creatures here, then you are in a bit of trouble. So hopefully we can draw into that. We've got the Reckless Impulse to do so. Looks like they're going to double stomp us here and get rid of the Spitfire, which is pretty sad. That is a bummer. Big, big bummer. Let's see. Let's start with the Reckless Impulse since we've got mana available. And I don't mind putting down a Pyreling here. And then we just have to get rid of the Hazard. That's fine. Still, though, no non-combat damage on the table, which is going to be a problem. We really need to get something set up. They're going to have big, beefy blockers here. And just sliding in under the radar with some Gingerbrutes probably isn't going to be enough. Now, if you're not familiar with the Bard class, it starts off at 2 mana. Legendary creatures control enter with an additional counter on them. And then they have just leveled that up so that legendary creature spells they cast cost a red and a green less. And that can only affect the colored mana, so that cannot reduce anything else. And this actually is to any target, which I kind of didn't realize, but that is fantastic. So we can turn this into a 2/3 double strike. That's pretty cool. Let's do that now, because I want to light up the stage before we go to combat. Let's light up the stage. Perfect. Play with fire is exactly the kind of thing we need here. So we can go ahead and go to combat. And we're going to swing all out, hoping they block the Pyreling. But even if they don't, getting that 1 extra damage is going to be awesome. This is going to deal 6 after we deal damage right here. So we're up to 8. That was fine. So we're going to deal right here. Scorch Spitter is probably kind of fine. It turns on our Pyreling even more. This goes up to 3 for a total of 6. We drop down a Cavalcade next turn, and we might be at enough here to deal it, because we're also going to be able to put down 2 unblockable Gingerbrutes, and unless they have a Wrath here to get rid of both of these, I think we're going to squeak out of this one. This deck just sets up really fast, and any deck that takes too much time messing around with cards like Widespread Thieving just isn't going to do enough. There we go, 2-1 on the day. Let's see what kind of crazy win rate we can get to with 0 rares in this deck. Alright, so not an ideal hand here. Like I said, not having Cavalcade or the Chandra creatures, but having an early light up the stage to pair with a turn 2 Epicure and to light up the stage. Well, we can't do that really either, but we can go ahead and start off with the Epicure. We've got enough card draw that I'm confident that we can get something rolling here. See an early Hive, so we're playing against a black deck of some kind. Okay, this makes me feel a lot better. Getting down this Pyreling will be great. And then pairing that with a eventual Scorch Spitter, which turns it on very nicely, that'll be good. Potentially going to see the Fatal Push here, though. Yeah, that is unfortunate, so we are probably going to struggle in this matchup. They're going to have enough early removal to counteract our early threats. Really the only early threat we've had so far. So that is very disappointing. Bloodtithe Harvester. Fine. What do we want to do here? Let's go ahead, swing in with the Epicure. Just hope we get lucky in that they dodge the block. Okay, they don't block. That was probably a mistake to swing in at all. But I really needed to deal a damage there. Let's just drop this guy down. And then let's put in a tap. No, I don't want to cycle. I want to put in a tapped Desert, and then we can cycle away. We can Blood Token away this mountain. Fable's really good. I think they're just going to outvalue us. We could, you know, of course we could get down a Spitfire for a nice big threat. But this deck matches up very well against us and the kind of things we're trying to do. So this is pretty unfortunate. They've got blocks all day for us. just put down 2 Spitters and try to hope we can set up a big Cavalcade turn before they're able to finish us off, I think will be the play. Right now we're at 2-1, and we're in the upper echelons of Platinum, so definitely not Mythic rank, but we're certainly in a respectable rank here where nobody's playing crazy trash decks. They might not be playing exact meta decks, but we are playing real decks and real opponents at this stage, I would guess. Nobody's getting to Platinum without putting a little bit of work and knowledge in. So you are seeing a budget deck play at about a 50% win rate, it looks like so far, really with no problem at all. So that's pretty nice to see. I am pretty impressed with this deck, especially if you're just starting out on Arena and you don't have a lot of wild cards and you're looking for a budget deck. This one is truly up there, and especially if you like aggressive strategies, this is probably the only way to play mono red with no rares. The best mono red strategies take quite a few rares, and obviously they're always going to be good. I would love to light up the stage. I think we wait. I think we're playing a game of patience here. Really just hoping to set up one explosive turn. It's kind of our only hope, but I'm not feeling super good about it. They're gonna have double reflection. They've got Chandra out, just dealing insane kinds of value, just like Planeswalkers do, and you can't get around them. So I'm really not feeling super good about this one. Interesting choice to Bone Crush a random Spitter. I guess they're just getting their value out of that, so that makes sense. Yeah, we're just struggling here. We're just really struggling. That's okay. We knew from the start when we saw that early Fatal Push against our turn 2 threat that it would be a tough one. So that's okay. Then they can now play the Bone Crusher with their treasure mana, which I'm assuming they will want to do. Okay. Yeah, we really need to draw something valuable here or probably lose. That makes sense. They're going to play that Bone Crusher off the top too, so they drew that with Chandra. Okay, a Pyreling, sure. We'll go ahead and keep holding out for it then. Maybe that lives and we get a Cavalcade down for a huge swing. Even then, it's just so easy to block, and they're going to make a bunch of blockers with Reflection. Not feeling like we can win back from this one. But I'm always a fan of playing it out. Don't like to give up too early. I like to see what our opponents do. It helps me learn more about the game and more about the potential of decks that I might play. I do play a lot of Rakdos. Alright, that is probably enough for me to say congratulations. We'll go to 2-on-2 in the day, and we'll get at least one more game here. Alright, this is the kind of start I'm super, super excited for. Double Cavalcade, double Chandra creatures. We are ready to go off, guys. This is going to be awesome. This will be the top end of the deck as long as they don't have 4 pieces of early removal or something crazy like that, where we just really don't get to do the thing. But this is going to be a really, really nice showing of the deck. 3rd land right off the bat. It doesn't get any better than this. Let's go. I'm super excited. Now, they could have some counter magic, seeing blue. First blue deck we're playing against the deck today that has potential counter magic. One of our early ones was, but they weren't looking for counter magic. That's fine. Don't care about that. We want to play our attacker first so that it can get ready to roll off of the Cavalcade. Death Touch isn't going to matter if we get down double Cavalcade. So the play now is turn 3 Spitfire, turn 4 double Cavalcade, and then we just go nuts from there. Tainted Adversary coming down as a 2-3 Death Touch is quite a bit to get around. Very good card. I think it's underrated. I don't think enough people are playing this in their black decks, and they're not interested in blocking anyway, which makes me feel like they've got counter magic available. Okay, no they don't. What in the world is this card? I am not familiar. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, put a -1/-1 counter on it. Whenever it deals combat damage, remove all -1/-1 counters from it. Very interesting. But that's okay. We're going all out here. that's fine. We're going to just stick with the regular plan. He can deal 4 damage to our face with this Amit Eternal. That's no problem. They feel like they're pretty aggressive here. But double Cavalcade's going to do a lot of work for us. I would love to see both of these creatures attack. You know he wants to swing with this Amit Eternal right now. Yes, that makes perfect sense. But we're going to still get to put in a lot of work with double Cavalcade. Might even be enough to win. I haven't done the math yet. Perfect. That is the exact kind of slow play that we are excited to see. Yep, perfect. One more. And now this is going to be 6 triggers. So this is going to be insane damage. This is probably the win, right? Because Chandra Spitfire is just going to get insanely huge. I mean, turn 4, how much damage is this? This is absolutely perfect. Awesome, awesome showing of the deck. That is a 19-3 Spitfire in the air and a 7-3 Double Striker. Coming at you on turn 4, this budget deck, when it works, holy cow, does it work. Oh my gosh, thank you guys for joining me for this video. Hey, we're going to end it right here, but if you enjoyed, click that video over there for another one. Thank you, my friend. Have a great day.